Alright, I've been seeing a lot of people dislike the current roster of UFC Champions due to things such as their activity, trash talk, or just the fact that they're a wrestler. But there's also been a good amount of people that like this current roster due to the fact that it's a fresh and different lineup filled with fighters that have different styles other than striking. So let's go through some of the problems that I think the current UFC Champions have and how they can all fix it. There's almost nothing really bad I can say about Pantoja other than he kinda needs to put himself out there more. Like, he's a great fighter that's cleared his division, but I think that he's not really getting the spotlight that he deserves. And if he puts himself out there more, he could end up becoming a pretty big star. Currently, Merab is the most recent fighter to become champion by putting on a dominant performance against Sean O'Malley last month. But I will say his fighting style of shooting for tons of takedowns and winning the fight by decision is kind of boring. But I honestly think that with Merab's personality and the way he's a cardio machine in his fights, it's going to end up making him a pretty fun champ in the future. The only thing I dislike about Ilia Topuria is what he did to Volkanovski and the fact that he might end up doing it to Max in 3 weeks. But that's honestly the only negative I could say for Ilia. The main problem I think Belal is going to face as a champ is the fact that he's not going to be able to sell as much fights as other fighters do. I think the only way the UFC would be able to get fans to watch a card headlined by Belal is to do what they did with O'Malley and stack the card up with big names in an exciting fight. Another problem I think Belal has is the fact that his fight style is kind of like Merab, but much more boring. He needs to start going for submissions or something instead of taking his opponent down and just waiting until the fight's over to win by decision. And kind of like with Ilia, the only negative I really have for Duplessis is the fact that he fights really weird. Like, the way he lunges forward with his head down and both arms swinging, it's so risky, but somehow that shit just ends up working for him. And like, I know that Alex Pereira loves to fight, and I mean, he's headlined 3 events in the last 6 months, but I feel like eventually if he doesn't end up taking a break, he's gonna end up meeting the same exact fate that Izzy and Volkanovski faced. And honestly, I feel like he should fight more wrestlers. That's another thing I keep seeing, about Pereira is the fact that he doesn't fight any wrestlers. And I think that after he fights Khalil on Saturday, he should defend his belt against someone that wrestles to try to challenge himself and his ground game some more. There's a lot of negative things I could say about Jon Jones, but I'm only going to talk about the more recent problems that I have with him instead of bringing up old things like his steroids use. But honestly, he needs to fight Tom instead of Stipe. It doesn't make any sense as to why Jon would fight Stipe, who hasn't won a fight since 2020, instead of fighting the interim champion to unify both belts. And another problem I have with Jon is the fact that he's hella inactive. Between now and the last time Jon Jones has fought, Alex Pereira has been on an insane streak after losing the middleweight belt and moving up to light heavyweight. And it's kind of crazy that the next time we're going to end up seeing Jon Jones fight is when he's going to be retiring. But there's a few things that a lot of other fans dislike about our current roster of UFC champs. So let me know what you guys think and what opinions you have about the current champion lineup. And please, like and subscribe.